Good evening. It's March 6th, 2023. It's about 5:30 in the evening. 75 degrees, gentle breeze from the east. Very beautiful weather. It got a little warm today. It got up to 80 or so. Hey, Hindungi. My goodness. My dog every single time. So one of the reasons why my cows might have runny manure is I forgot to give them minerals. And I checked the minerals, and indeed their minerals were low. So I need to fill them up with minerals. Hey JJ, actually, as soon as you get that done, can you fill it with minerals? Do you know how to do that? Okay. Here's Metal Tag. I haven't seen him. My goodness. What are you getting so excited about, Mr. Dog? Get out of here. Get. I don't want you chasing my cows. Out. Come on. Out. Get out. Come on. I think I've decided I'm going to do AI. I'm not going to keep the bull. The problem is keeping bulls is hard. And AI is cheap. So we're going to do AI. AI is not artificial intelligence. AI is artificial insemination. And I'll get access to better bulls. You need to get out of here, dog. I don't want you here with the cows. You can't bark at them, okay? No more barking at my cows. Right, Blue? So, yeah, the bull's got to go. Boy, Mr. Bull. So today or tomorrow, I'm going to sort the cows from the bulls. Keep the heifers back. I'm going to keep 24, but if I knew better what I was doing, I'd probably get rid of her, along with all the cows that are skinny right now. But I'm going to keep her. And the bulls, going to go in the pen. I'm going to take them to the vet to get them banded and vaccinated and doctored. And then we're going to keep them separate from the cows, feed them on a trough until late June when we'll sell them. So that's my plan. So if my neighbor wants them, I'll sell it to him, but if he doesn't, I'll sell it to the feedlot. Can you put that on your shoulder, or is your shoulder still sore?
I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. When I separate the calves out from the bull, their mamas are gonna be crying at each other all night long and for several days, and I don't know if the wire is gonna be enough to contain them. So I'll have to keep the cows in the pen, the bull calves in the pen. I think the wire will work, especially because there's such a distance. So that's the plan. I always wonder why cows go after certain grass and not others. Is there a rhyme and reason to what they do? Like, they leave the tall grass till last. Is that because they know it's not good for them, or? I don't know. Anyway, this paddock has already been mowed quite a bit, but I wanted to show you what it looked like when I started, which is almost exactly like this paddock. Lots of flowers. Tall grass in places. Look at that. That's some tall grass there. There's some over here too. And there's some empty spots, some spots that just didn't grow. I think this is just a giant anthill. And the ants have been, eating anything that grows in the area. You can see they're carrying a dead grasshopper. That looks like a grasshopper. Or is that a branch or something? They're carrying it downstairs. Doing the Lord's work underneath the ground, loosening up the soil and putting carbon down there for things to grow. Look at all these white flowers. I don't know if I can properly capture that on camera. But yeah, tons and tons of this little white flowers growing among the grass. Monoculture. So monoculture is a theory that you want to plant only one type of plant in your field. You don't want anything else to grow. You got to kill all the weeds. You got to kill anything else that's growing there. And then you plant your crop. And the idea, it's not It's not a strange idea. The idea is that only your crop will get the nutrients from the ground, which sounds reasonable. You know, if you kill everything else, there's nothing to compete with it, right? The issue is that we're finding out is that nature builds these synergies, to use a fancy term, these relationships where plants grow together better than they grow apart. And we found, at least in the case of grass, that if you don't put clovers and other legumes with the grass, that you need to put chemicals like nitrogen and stuff in the soil, and then that brings with it a whole bunch of other problems, because the chemicals cause the chemistry to change in the soil, and then the chemistry is no longer beneficial for the things that live in the soil. And I think 100 years ago they started to apply science to agriculture. Here, let me help you. And the idea was that science had all the answers and scientists knew what they were doing, when that's like exactly the opposite of what science is. Science is the art of questioning what people think they know and finding where their assumptions are wrong. And I know people like to append the paragraph that says, oh, and we replace it with better ideas. No, that's not necessarily true. Oftentimes their own conclusion is that it's wrong. We don't know what's better. And in the case of agriculture, I think the last 100 years have proven that the scientific approach to farming, in terms of putting chemicals and monoculture and things like that into it, is just not working. The soil is not growing more crops, at least in a consistent way, and you just need to keep applying more and more chemicals, and it gets harder and harder. Requires more and more diesel. You know, probably if those things were super cheap, which technically they should be, there's no reason why diesel fuel should be expensive at all. It's a naturally occurring substance, and it's inside of crude oil. You just have to boil it out and distill it. The same as pretty much anything else. But now that, you know, economic forces are what they are, and people think that they can control the climate, the prices of things that should be cheap are going up, and it's making agriculture hard. So the philosophy nowadays, and I think this is a sound philosophy, is what's called zero input. The idea is you want to build a farm where you don't have to import anything into the farm to grow food. And instead you build virtuous cycles that capitalize on each other. And one of those virtuous cycles that we've identified is using ruminants to graze the land, in particular cows. And we're finding through experimentation that cows can turn desert into grasslands. And it's counterintuitive that the thing that's eating the grass can create more grass, but that's one of the synergies in nature, is grass and cows. The nice thing about cows versus sheep and goats is cows eat the grass in such a way to optimize its growth. Sheep and goats tend to eat too much of the grass. But sheep and goats have their own purpose. They have their own role. They do better in places where there's not as much grass and it's more like thorny weeds and stuff like that. So, but they have their own purpose, and I'm going to use sheep. The idea is that half of my animal units are cows and half of my animal units are sheep, and that can hopefully reduce the parasite load on the animals, because the sheep will be eating cow parasites and the cows will be eating sheep parasites, and you know, the sheep parasites don't live in cows and cow parasites don't live in sheep. So that will hopefully be a good cycle. Anyway, that's kind of my mission. My goodness, You're not a cow. Hey, Hindungi, I need you to leave the cows alone, okay? Let's go. Come on. Come on. Go. Get out of here. Get out. Out, out, out. Out. This is cows area, not dog area. Okay? Out. Out, out, out. Nutmeg is over there watching in the distance. Anyway, that's kind of my philosophy right now. Guys, have a great day. Take care. Bye-bye.